Hey, what's up, guys? So talking a little bit again about the Shreya and the Preya. I ended the last video a little bit short. I had a little bit of a distraction from a couple of things a couple projects I got going. But just thinking a little bit about the challenges and the frustrations and the hardships and the depressing moments and the anxiety that I've gone through with this whole concept of Shreya and Preya, this short-term satisfaction, so-called satisfaction, because it doesn't last, and the delayed sense gratification for a long-term result. Food is one of the hardest ones, so I can really empathize with everyone that's going through this. If you've got extra pounds that you want to lose, you have some metabolic disorders that are being plagued by lack of exercise and poor food choices and different other lifestyle factors, I can really empathize with this. I've gone through this myself. I know that many of my systems have been damaged over the years because I've been back and forth. Even though I was very athletic when I was young, body composition, metabolism, mindset was all relatively healthy because of my youth and because of my exercise, and there was quite a few things that were healthy in my diet. I had a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables for sure, but I also had a lot of garbage. And all of those times where I programmed myself, I programmed my body and mind to enjoy hyper palatable, highly processed foods. Later, it would be my default. I would go to these foods and I would engage in these poor lifestyle habits when things were tough, when I was sad, when I was depressed, things weren't going my way. It was an easy way for me to get a quick fix, like a drug, where I could have some temporary relief from all the pressures of the world. So I get that, you're going along, it's hard to pay the bills, you're having relationship problems, there's just issues, and you sit down to a nice meal, or you have a drink, or you do something that's not ultimately the best for you, and it relieves those problems for a short period of time, and just a little bit of relief can feel like the solution in the moment. And then you string a bunch of those together over time, and now you've got some serious problems in the body and some serious problems in the mind. That's hard to untangle that. Imagine you have a whole ball of string and cords and things like that have been sitting in the closet for years. For some reason, they miraculously get all balled up in a huge knot. It's just crazy. It's like, how did it happen? Every time I see that, I'm always like, how is it possible? I wouldn't be able to tie those in that knot if I tried. And they just got tied in the knot just from kind of, bouncing around for, a couple of years or whatever, in a drawer or whatever it may be. It's just crazy. But nevertheless, the analogy is there. It's hard to untangle that. A lot of times you have to cut that to get it untangled. So it's similar. Our body and our mind, they get tangled up, and that's literally what happens with our thoughts and also with our biological geometry. If you guys have looked at the biological geometry, it's fascinating. The structures of the muscle, the structures of the bone, the structures of the organs, of the arteries, of the cells, these guys all have geometric structures, even down to the very, very minute particles. If you looked at protein folding, you have all these proteins that fold into particular structures. It's kind of like that analogy we just talked about, where you have all these strings and they've kind of wound into a ball. You got these long chains of amino acids, and they end up folding into these particular geometric structures, and they have specific purposes when they do that. Those things get damaged, those things get entangled. They actually get entangled into improper geometric forms in the brain, it can cause trouble, serious trouble, serious mental problems, serious metabolic problems. This is what's happened. Through our choices, and it's not all our fault, that's for sure, our environment is heavily influential. Our genetics are influential. The family we grew up in is influential. The society, the world we live in. You can't just have a perfect, pristine body and mind that's completely immune from everything around you. How are you going to keep yourself from these minute particles that are constantly floating through the air and the water and in your car and, you know, in your office and in your home? Inevitably, you're going to get exposed to some of these things. You're going to get exposed to negative people. You're going to get exposed to situations where there's, you know, anxiety and anger. There's problems around. So if we can be as resilient and robust as possible, and ultimately if we can become anti-fragile, where we actually grow in strength from the adversity and the diversity that we have around, from the challenges that come our way, if we can grow stronger with the proper mindset and the proper strategy and the proper tactics, this is really where the key lies. I was just thinking about diamonds and how they're formed. I don't know the exact molecular process that these atoms go through to change their carbon structure, because ultimately, you know, carbon atoms along with some other atoms are what's in the structure of the diamond. But through this pressure, these carbon atom structures are changed and a diamond is born. So think about this when we're trying to reframe our problems, our challenges, our anxious moments, our hard times in our life. Through this pressure, we have the ability to grow into a more resilient, beautiful being. We can handle more because we've gone through more. We just want to make sure that we do our best to try to temper this. We don't want to go through too much too fast, because it can really have some major ramifications for us. You know, some people never come out of it if it's too hard and too fast. So if we can mitigate a bit of this damage through a proper strategy, expose ourselves to a healthy amount of challenges and pressures, and continue to grow stronger and stronger from this so we can handle more pressure, then we'll find that if we want to earn more money, we want to have a more satisfying career, have deeper relationships, have a healthier body, have better workouts, have a better overall life experience, then we need to be continually working on growing in many different ways. And just as if you have too much growth hormone in your body, like the tallest man that ever lived, I think his name was Robert Wadlow, he had way too much growth hormone pumping through his body. I believe he had a tumor that was causing him trouble to produce too much growth hormone. He grew too fast, compromised his organs, his joints, his bones, his muscles. Ultimately, I believe he died from an infection at an early age, but that was a difficult life. So if you pace it, but you just continue to grow slowly and surely, regularly, matter of years, you'll be surprised where you're at. So work on this on all areas. Dedicate yourself to working on these things. Build these skills. Learn about your body and how it works. Each one of us has our own particular genetics. Each one of us has our own experiences, our own past. Our own unique future lies ahead. Become an expert in yourself. Learn about your body, learn about your mind, learn about your heart, learn about your desires, your propensities. What are you curious about? What are you attracted to? Where do your joys lie? What are your values? Spend time contemplating these things. Instead of just sitting in front of the TV or scrolling through social media, don't do these things too much. Think deeply and consider things. Write things down. Talk about these things to people. Implement these things. Listen to experts. Read books. Listen to podcasts and different audiobooks and different quotes. And consider these and try to apply these and see how could they work for you? How could they improve your life? Sure, spend some time on Netflix and social media and going out with your friends and all these different things. Have some fun. Balance it out though. Set time aside for each particular thing. Set your time aside for a particular amount of exercise per week. Particular amount of consideration for your food choices. Set some time aside for things like meditation and deep thinking and writing things down that are meaningful for you and working on these projects. Set some time aside to grow your business, to grow your career, to improve your relationship with your friends and family. Put these each in different categories. Prioritize the ones that are weaker, but make the ones stronger even stronger as well. Have a nice strategy for all these. See which ones are most important to you, or which ones are lacking, or which ones you're dissatisfied with. If you're thinking like this and you're acting upon it, you're working towards these goals, it's just amazing what happens. We have this amazing brain and body and mind. These are tools to serve us. They will serve you. They will either serve you for the worse or for the better. What are you feeding them? You feed your body a bunch of garbage, it'll be tired, lethargic, and depressed. You don't move the body, it'll become like a pond, just dead. No oxygen flow. Feed your mind with amazing information. It's a lot of amazing people that have lived on this earth. A lot of amazing gifts that they have brought to us with their own beautiful minds, their own beautiful purpose, their own beautiful values. Bathe in that wisdom by hearing from them, reading about them, contemplating what they've said and what they've done and who they are. So much potential here. It's sad for me to see when people are not even close to coming to their potential. Just neglecting all of this time that we have to be able to live an amazing life. And I have been plagued, just like most of us have. Tons of time has been wasted. The only reason I can even speak what I'm speaking now is because I have experienced this. And now the light is starting to glow brighter and brighter. The understanding and realization of what the potentials are is becoming deeper and broader. So I'm sharing. This is my journey. I've been such a fool. So much time has been wasted, so much energy has been wasted, so much nonsense has been engaged in. But that was my path. Now I look back and think about what did all the garbage do for me? It was either causing me tons of pain or just simply keeping me stuck. If I didn't have that to look at, wouldn't be able to compare it to anything. So even though it's a regret in a sense, because I think what I could have done with that time, also at the same time it's a blessing because I'm looking at what didn't work. I remember I heard one time, it was the inventor of the light bulb, Edison. He just found 1,000 ways of how not to build a functioning light bulb. Just trying and trying and trying. So you could look at it a couple different ways. You could regret all those times where you failed, or you could just be like, I just kept looking and I found out ways that didn't work, which led me finally to the solution.